Hey, this is Taz Street with Positive Out Loud. And today we have with us two special guests. We have Dewey Layman and we have Nathan Siles. And Dewey, he is the owner of L-Dopa Consulting. It's a health quantum mechanics business. And then we also have Nathan Siles. He is with, can you say your company one more time, Nathan?
Now You.
Now You, right? Awesome. So today we're going to talk about something very, very interesting, very special, and it's kind of dear to my heart because I just started doing this myself, and it's really been helping my health. It has to do with your mitochondria, and it has to do with the sun, and it has to do with not so much what we're eating, but so much of what we're taking in. So, and I think we want to start off with kind of your testimonial, Nathan, so we can get people's attention to show them exactly what we're doing for ourselves can help us.
Sure. Yeah. The way we view health now should be very different to the way we viewed it in the past. I think I'm an example of that in a way that I've been dealt quite a pretty bad set of cards in my life. And my journey is one of sort of self-discovery and optimism throughout my whole life. So I started as an 8-month-old being diagnosed with cancer as a little baby.
Wow.
And I sort of struggled with, treatment and all that sort of stuff that you go through radiation, and did, a month of that, and was lucky enough to actually keep some vision. So my life would be very different if I was blind, but I'm lucky to hold on to about 15%. So as you can tell, from that, you lose so much of your upbringing in terms of, growth and development. You miss social cues, all those sort of challenges that go along with that through schooling and whatnot. And as you can probably tell, it would manifest into other illnesses later down the track. Especially from the aggressive treatment that they put me through. So the radiation has a couple side effects later down the track, and the biggest one is posterior cataracts, which basically means that you've got cloudy vision your whole life, and the cataracts are only going to get more dense and harder to see as you get older. So I turned 15, and there you go, the cataracts appeared, and my vision got slightly worse, and then my health sort of started to deteriorate a little bit further from there. And, I increased the amount of computer work that I did, and I was studying at college. I started working at a bank and, living an indoor lifestyle, becoming a zoo animal. And yeah, it was basically a bit of a downward spiral till I hit 24 when I was diagnosed with testicular cancer. So it's one of those young men diseases that, afflicts a lot of people early in their life, which kind of shakes things up, because at that point you're trying to figure out who you are and what you want to do and everything else, and the last thing you want to be dealing with is health problems. So
what type of cancer did you have at 8 months old?
It was called retinoblastoma, so cancer on the back of my eyes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so all of the retinas are scarred, little patches sort of around. So there's only a little bit of absorption of light through those areas. So the brain kind of compensates for it in many ways. So yeah, the testicular cancer sort of came up, at least for me, it kind of came up out of nowhere right in my prime as I was, starting my life, my life's journey. And, it really shocked me to hear that not only did I have to have surgery, but actually had to go through chemotherapy as well. And so I kind of, just said, let's do it. Let's just get this out of me. Let's get my life back.
And how long ago was this?
It was 3 years ago.
Okay.
So 27 now. So, it's the treatment lasted for about 3 months. The symptoms, as you would imagine.
Right.
Basically I started this quantum journey from there. Started reading and listening to things in my hospital bed that I was checked into the oncology ward, and watching videos and searching for more answers, because at that stage when you get sick, it's like everything's on the table.
Oh, yeah.
you want to know what you were doing right, what you were doing wrong, and questioning all of your belief systems that you had.
So there's many different avenues, many different ways to take a look. I mean, there's so many things out there of what everybody thinks this is the cure. This is what's going to help cancer. So what made you take this journey?
It works. Yeah, it really does work, and I use my life as a science experiment from that
Hmm.
day.
So what's the first things that you started doing to help yourself?
Sure. First thing I did was go to the beach and sit out in the sun because I was going to work in a black suit, full length with top button done up, ties, sunglasses on, hats.
Hmm.
Always inside, going to work before sunrise, leaving after sunset.
Hmm.
My lifestyle was disconnected from nature. Always wearing rubber-soled shoes,
Hmm.
going to work in a car or on a train. It was artificial, and so I started implementing sunlight as my first thing. It felt
Hmm.
good as soon as you're out in the sun and you get exposed to it. It just something turns on in your body, and you just start to feel better. From a vitamin.
Absolutely. I took a walk this morning with my dog and my daughter, and we just walked around. I showed her where her new school is going to be because she's going to get in a kindergarten at the end of this year, and we looked through there, and the sun was so beautiful this morning. You don't see it very often in Seattle, but it was out there. So like, let's get out of here.
See, we're trained to do that, aren't we?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
luckily it's my day off, so I was able to go out and take my time and do that. But you're right. A lot of people have to be at work before the sun even starts rising.
yeah, yeah. It's a real shame. Very different to how life was 50 years ago.
Hmm. So so you're on this journey, and you started getting in the sun. What other things have you started doing?
So eating organic food was one of the first things I started doing. Cleaning up my diet, no
Hmm.
processed, anything in a package, done. Fresh food, raw food, and cooking it the right way. There's lots of different ways to cook things. Cooking it a healthy way with the right oils,
Hmm.
the right amount of time to cook things, very important. So that was one of the other things I did. Drinking lots of filtered water was huge,
Okay.
um, and then obviously cleaning up my air environment, so the oxygen I was breathing. You have to be so aware of all the things that are in the air, whether it's pollution or anything else that goes. So that's kind of how it sort of set a fundamental base for my business, which is It's Now You, and it's an acronym. It's instant therapy, sunlight, nutrition, oxygen, and water, and they're kind of all the elements that bring it all together. So they're all the things I kind of changed and adapted and built into my plan, so I could actually, yeah. So
And it's all free. I mean, the food's not free, but the sunlight is free, the water's free, the sunshine's free. I mean,
yeah, I mean, you can grow your own food. That's what I was doing, growing my veggies, growing my
hmm
parsley in the backyard, and um, tending to it. And one of the other things I used to do is every time I planted something, I put the seed in my mouth and make sure the energy with me was symbiotic with it. And then you plant it, and it'd be kind of growing and developing with the exact same bacteria that you have, so it's right for you. Um,
oh
so
wow, I've never heard of that. That's awesome.
yeah, so you can personalize your garden.
Right. And so, how are you feeling now?
Yeah, so 2.5 years all clear. Go back for regular checkups and things like that. Feeling
Hmm.
better, to be honest. Living an outdoor lifestyle, remotely working, so I'm able to balance my work and my
Hmm.
health, so I can keep managing that because it's always a balance, and it's
Yeah.
always so yeah, really outstanding, especially being down here with Dewey.
Had a lot of fun down here in Mexico.
What part of Mexico are you in?
Our Playa del Carmen, in the Yucatan, so about 20th latitude. Um, we have the benefit of the magnetic flux from the crater, the Chicxulub crater, where the asteroid hit about 65 million years ago and took out the dinosaurs. So we were here for a member event for Jack Cruz, who you know.
Hmm.
A lot of us, about 75 to 8 people, came for the event, and we've all just basically been hanging out, celebrating the New Year's, celebrating being, healthy living. A lot of us have really overcome some very, very hard times, chronic diseases and stuff like this. And he was able to share his story with me one day, and it really was moving. So I
Hmm.
wanted to add on and to share it, because I wanted
Yeah.
people to know that it doesn't matter what you have going on, you can always overcome it.
Mm-hmm.
The key is you have to connect to nature.
Right.
And it is free. It is free, and food is not. But you could think of that, like I always say, light, water, magnetism, and it's really all about light. And it's the same thing with food. Food is light. It's it's made through photosynthesis. It's light slowed down to create something of mass, something of matter.
Mm-hmm.
And you're basically eating sunshine when you're eating food. So it's all the same.
Yep.
So yeah.
We all are made of the stars and the sun, right? I mean, that's what we are, right?
Totally true.
So tell us a little bit about your journey too, Dewey. I want to know where you came from, what was your health like, and what have you been doing?
Yeah. So I was born in San Antonio, Texas. As soon as I was born, with me and my family, my sister, my mom, my father, we all moved out to Hawaii. I believe it's Honolulu. My dad was in the Air Force, so
Mm-hmm.
went out there, stayed there for a few years. Around the time I was 2 or 3 years old, my parents split up. So it was just me and my dad. We moved out to LA in California, and we
Well, at
were
least you
there.
stayed in the sun.
Exactly. That's actually really key, because this was a time of my life where I was doing pretty good. I was thin, had no eye problems. And I always told my dad growing up, I'm like, I wish we could go back to LA, because we eventually moved out when I was 7 years old. And I was like, those were the good days. And we were so poor, dirt poor,
Mm-hmm.
but it was still great. And that's what I loved. And I think we were going to the beach all the time, going to the park, playing basketball with each other and whatnot. And I was eating fast food all the time, McDonald's, whatever it was, like ramen noodles, and like it was bad. So, but as soon as I moved to Winchester, Tennessee, so now we're about 35, 37 latitude. So not strong sun, gets really cold during the winter. Obviously, I'm darker complected.
Right.
So as soon as I moved there, that's when things started to go downhill, where I was now getting thicker. I was getting fatter. I eventually had myopia, nearsightedness, so my eyes started to go really bad. And the difference is also with my food, it didn't really change too much. Like I would go and I would eat fast food with my dad sometimes, but mostly I stayed with my grandma while he worked out, in Huntsville, Alabama. So I was eating home cooked meals grown in her own garden.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to talk about like eating locally, like we always recommend, that's the way to go. You eat what's grown in your local environment, and you should be okay, given that you are in nature, outside, in the right stimulus. But my lifestyle was an indoor lifestyle. I started getting into video games a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I was indoors all the time. Then eventually, maybe somewhere during middle school or elementary, started playing a lot of sports. So I was playing soccer a lot. So I was getting outside. Then the weight started to come off. Once I hit middle school, I started playing football and soccer
Mm-hmm.
for middle school, and I was getting really, really thin. And then come high school, I was super thin, probably about the best shape of my life, just from playing sports and being outside now. And then sometime along there, I was.
But of course, people would say it's because you're playing sports. They're not going to look at the outside part of it, right? Okay.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But now, say, since we're bringing up sports, now we see people in sports, like say in the NBA, even in football, sports of all kinds, except tennis, because tennis is usually played during the day. But there's so many injuries now in the NBA and football, it's insane. But it's because of all the light that they're living under, the blue light, the non-native EMF, because now, at these events, these stadiums, they're going to have 5G technology rolled out. And
Mm-hmm.
it is absolutely crazy. And we just had actually a head coach down in Tampa, Florida, just experienced, I think, some heart issues and got sent to the hospital. And he doesn't know is that Tampa's 5G. and it's been 5G for probably it's been testing probably about 3 or 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's there. This is happening everywhere too. Um, but so that was the key though. So I did I did play some games at night, obviously for school and stuff like that. But I spent most of my free time, say during the summer, outside. I was always outside. I loved going to the lake and whatever, and I just loved it. I just loved to tan, basically, and yeah, that was the way I lived my life up
Mm-hmm.
until, and this is where things start to go bad again. So after high school, got into bodybuilding, started to live an indoor lifestyle again. Obviously, working out under blue light and all this stuff. Started to get a little bit
And
addicted to
for the people out there who don't know what you mean by blue light, what do you mean by blue light?
yeah, blue light. So blue light, predominantly what we see from things like LED lighting or CFL lighting, the compact fluorescent lighting, things like this screen that we're looking at right now. That's why we're wearing the glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Also from just even the natural sunlight coming in through the window, though, because people don't know that the glass itself will block UV light. It'll block the infrared and all the red too, a little bit. So you're almost kind of creating an LED light just by having the window shut. And that's why we always tell people you have to have the window open, cracked, so that the photoelectric effect the light can interact with all the electrons in here. We get all the UV and IR light just from having that little tiny crack.
So you just need a tiny crack in the window. Okay, cool.
And so if you're ever driving around, just leave the window cracked, even if it's like winter. Just leave it cracked. But you don't have to freeze your butt off or anything like that. Just let that light in. Bring the outside inside.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. And so started getting into alcohol a lot. Video gaming all night. I worked a closing job for Domino's too, so I was waking up around maybe 3 or 4 o'clock. Go to the gym real quick. Going to work. Sun's going down. I'd work all night until about 3 a.m. And then I'd go home, drink, video game till the sun came up, and then once the sun came up, that's when I went to sleep.
Oh my gosh.
Nocturnal lifestyle. And even though I was working out all the time, I still weight, and I even dabbled into steroids a little bit. So, and that kind of messed with my hormones a little bit. Eventually had like these kind of knots under my nipple. It's called gynecomastia or something like that. So I had that for some years. Started to go bald a little bit up top. So everything was kind of just like hormonal wise, just totally trashed. So for a while, I was trying to figure out how do I fix all of this stuff that I've done, and I did it through diet, all kinds of different diets, bunch of supplements. I probably spent thousands of dollars on supplements, and so nothing ever worked. Got into intermittent fasting, so I lost 50 pounds doing the fasting. But so I had one meal a day the way I was doing it. So I'd eat my one meal a day still at 3 o'clock in the morning because I was so closing for Domino's. And even though I lost 50 pounds and I looked great now, I had an autoimmune condition and I had the alopecia barbae on my face. And so I was like, had the light bulb moment. So maybe the way I look isn't really, a reflection of my true health. And so there's something I missed along the line. There's no way it was about food. It's not about exercise, because the food I was eating to lose 50 pounds, that one meal a day, was again like McDonald's, Taco Bell, pizza. Ate pizza probably every day, like large pizzas, and I just splurged, but I still lost 50 pounds and people thought I was crazy. But
Right.
the thing that really did it, that I learned later from the things that I learned from, say, people like Dr. Jack Cruz and things like this, is that it's all about circadian biology. And so when I watched this 2016 Nourish Vermont talk, it was like everything became clear to me. And the story I just told you, I reflected on. And I said, where was I at this time? And what kind of health did I have at this time? It all made sense based on where I was living, the lifestyle I had, even the foods I was eating. Like none of None of that mattered. It was the environment that I was in that
Mhm.
mattered. And so as soon as I watched it, I went to work the next day and I said, I'm done closing. I can't do this anymore because if I keep doing it, I'm going to have a serious issue living at the 35th latitude. Someone that's more equatorial need to be in strong sunlight like this. So I told him, done closing, I need to open. So make it happen. Unless, if it can't happen, then I quit
Right.
because I'm going to do whatever it took to get me well again. So I was able to do it. Started watching sunrises, eating my breakfast within 30 minutes of the sunrise, eating mainly ketogenically. So just like beef, lots of coconut oil, butter, eggs,
Mhm.
loads of seafood, though. That was the main part of the whole thing. Seafood is probably the only important food on the planet. Like, if you're not eating it, I don't care what diet you're on. If
Mhm.
it doesn't have seafood, then it is a total loss. Totally. You need it, mainly because of the DHA in it. DHA is basically what we use to structure our cell membranes.
And
We
there's a
store
lot of supplements with DHA. Can you tell us about how the supplements are compared to the food, the seafood?
Yeah, totally hogwash, totally waste money,
Mhm.
mainly because it's not in the right position. So there's like three different positions. There's the SN1 position, SN2 position, and SN3. Most of what the supplements are either SN3 or SN1. So, and this is what exists, say, in things like algae and grass and things like this. But the thing is, the cow, the fish, they go and they eat the algae, they go and they eat the grass. They turn that SN1 or SN3 into the SN2 position, which is what we need. So we need those animals to eat those things so we can eat them and then we can be healthy. That's why we're designed to be meat eaters, depending on where you live.
Mhm.
We are we can eat plants too. We can eat fruit, but that's all tied to the light environment. If you live in a place where it's long UV light cycles and whatever grows there, like fruit, if apples grow there, then
Like
that's
where you are now, you can eat some more fruit, right?
so we've been eating like all kinds of carbohydrates, and we have no problem at all.
Okay.
You really can.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, the SN2 position. So that's what we need. That's what you get from seafood. That's what you get from fish, shellfish, shrimp. It's what you get from grass-fed beef.
Mhm.
The only thing is there's not as much in it, but that's why it's so popular. Say in the food circles, is that you know grass-fed beef, this and that, and that's because it has DHA. That's the only reason. It's really not that more beneficial than just regular beef. And what I told somebody yesterday, people will probably be shocked to hear this, but like you go to Long John Silver's fast food restaurant, you go and you get the fried fish they have, way better than any grass-fed beef you'll ever find.
I love Long John Silver's, man. I used to like. I don't think they have them up here anymore, but that was some pretty good fish.
Yeah, yeah, it really was. I remember eating that when I was young too. Awesome. But so even that, so we go from Long John Silver's fried fish, you go the next step, you got farmed fish,
Mhm.
way better than that.
Right.
Um, wild caught fish, way better than farm fish.
Mhm.
And then if you want to go even further, you get shellfish, you eat an oyster. That's the best thing you can probably eat on the planet. It's got everything you need in it. You want to take a supplement, take an oyster.
Hey,
That's
the
what
other day I just had a oyster omelet. I never had that before. Man, that was good.
oh
I
yeah.
had I took it. It was on New Year's Day. I took a dip in the water with some friends. The water was about 42 degrees, and then we went and had breakfast and had oyster. I had an oyster omelet. I felt so good that day.
Huh. That's awesome. That's so great. Yeah, yeah. And that's good. That's really good. That's the way you do it, and you're doing all the things necessary that you need to do to be optimal. I mean, you eat seafood, and
Mhm.
you're getting outside, like you said, with your daughter this morning. That is it. That's all you
Yeah.
need to do. Obviously, it depends on your context. Like some people think like they can do this in any kind of environment and they can be okay. But um, if you have an autoimmune condition, if you have cancer, if you have anything really chronic, um, depending on where you are, you may need to move. You may need to
Right.
move for a while to get yourself well,
Mhm.
and then maybe you can go back. But with the way things are turning out now with 5G, and especially with the NTP study that came out just recently, about 2 months ago, maybe even 2G, 3G, 4G is bad. Maybe you still need to move because we're now seeing that, say, I'm sure you've heard about this with Nathan Walls. So
Mm-hmm.
melanopsin, that is the blue light receptor. That's the blue light detector. It senses 435 to 465 light, which is blue. So this certain photoreceptor is loosely bonded with something called vitamin A. And so loosely bonded meaning that if blue light hits it, it can break it easily. And that's the way it's supposed to be for
Mm-hmm.
us. We're diurnal. Let's say for rats and things that are nocturnal, they have melanopsin too, and it's bonded to vitamin A, but it's a strong one. So it's blue light can't break it. So, but what the NTP study shows is that 2G, 3G, 4G can break that bond easily.
Hmm.
So the implications of that is their bond is strong, ours is loose. So what does that mean for us? We saw cancer and tumors in rats grow exponentially, grow so fast in rats that have a strong bond. So this is a huge problem for people like us.
Hmm.
And
that's why you hear now, I mean, compared to when I was a kid, you hardly heard anybody who had cancer, right? Or any type of autoimmune disease, or all these things that are going on now. But now you just hear it everywhere.
Yeah,
27 2 cancers, like that was unheard of.
Right.
The first one at 8 years old or 8 months old.
8 months old. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, the one thing that you need to understand and really need to evaluate in your own life when you get sick is, can you get better in the environment you got sick in? And if you just look at Dr. Doug Wallace, he says that 95% of all the diseases out there are epigenetic, which means they're controlled by your environment. They're activated by your environment.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone who gets sick needs to have a real good look at that and say, maybe I should move. Maybe I should take some more holidays to the tropics.
I was, now that you guys talk about this, I was in an environment where I was working probably a good 10 to 12 hour days. And I was traveling a whole heck of a lot. I mean, so much where we would travel like overseas to Ethiopia, just be there. I mean, I was working in immigration, so we would drop somebody off there, come right back to Rome, stay there. I mean, we're talking about many, many, many hours of traveling, doing that constantly. And it was the worst health I ever had, because I was working in front of a computer all the time. I was working a lot. It was very stressful. And then we were traveling all the time. And I would get to a point where they kept saying I had anxiety, but my heart was racing and doing crazy things. And I just felt so weak. And one time I felt like I was having a heart attack. They came in, and the ambulance came into my work, and they gave me oxygen. They said, "Oh, you're just having an anxiety attack." I mean, who knows what it was, right? But eventually I had to quit that job because I thought to myself, my health is much more important than making so much money. So I quit, and did something that I had fun doing, and I felt so much better. I wasn't making as much money, but oh my God, your health is so much more important. For everybody out there, your health is so much more important than any job that you have.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yep.
So it's all about the environment.
Exactly.
Sure is.
Sure is.
So Dewey, tell us a little bit about how you're feeling now compared to, when you were working out in the gym, or, you were losing your hair and that sort of thing. So tell us a little bit about how you're doing now.
Man, physically, I'm fine. Physically, I'm feeling really good. But the main thing that I noticed was my brain. My brain was in a super bad place back when I was a train wreck. So I was very depressed, even suicidal at times. I really didn't do that well in school at the time either. I was kind of like, I had D's, C's, and stuff like that in college, and I couldn't remember things very well. Couldn't form my thoughts very well. Like when I'm talking to people, I kind of like, can't form for what I want to say, and it's like there, but I can't like can't grab it and deliver it the way I want to. So that's the thing that really really got better once I started doing these things, and now I feel like mentally I'm like on point and I'm getting things done. I'm happy more than ever. Like this has been the happiest time of my life being here with all these people. It's like a family, and it's like it's so amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we just met.
So tell us about what are you guys doing out there? What are you guys doing to get your health even more optimized?
Yeah, and so now I'm working for Raw Optics and all these things and doing my own business, quantum health consulting. So I'm trying to really help other people see this stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
that was the main thing. My mental health really turned around pretty instantly too. I mean, you go from alcoholic to being depressed and all this stuff, and like doing a total 180 to being the happiest kid on the planet.
Right.
No problem or anything. So yeah, my mental health was the thing. Yeah.
Are you doing any type of like a kind of quiet going within type of meditation or anything like that, or?
No, and actually, and this has been brought up quite a few times, and I've always kind of thought about it because some people are really big into that, and they want to, like Matt Maruka, the CEO of Optics, he does it every morning. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, I kind of go throughout my whole day in a meditative state. I don't stress much,
Right.
so I may have a lot on my plate, but it'll never get to me. You know, I just do what I got to do, and you know, I just keep relaxed. You know, I'm pretty chill guy, so I'm pretty much always meditating. Even when I'm talking to you right now, but I'm nice and relaxed. I'm
Good.
good.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. He's a very calm soul.
If I was in Mexico. So what have you guys been doing since you've been out there? Tell me a little bit about how your day's going.
Sure. Well, we've got access to the beach. We've got access to the pool. We've got
Uh-huh.
access to the cold tub, hot tub. We can do cold and hot, jump
Oh,
in.
really?
60
How cold? How cold is the cold tub?
60 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
So cold thermogenesis is another protocol that we've learned from Dr. Jack Cruz, and I don't know if your listeners know much about it, but it's basically exposing your surfaces of your body to cold temperatures to be able to increase circulation and generate light from within your body. So you're basically activating your little mitochondrial organelles within all of your cells to release infrared light, which is heat. And so it powers your engine of your body and burns fat. So it's not only a great thing to do after you have a meal, because everything you eat right there goes straight to energy production.
Mm-hmm.
Sit and store as adipose tissue or anything else. But it's
So
also really
so it's good to get in the cold after you eat.
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
You want to do it. You want to do it pretty much after you eat, not before, because you want to have some energy in the system, ideally.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's incredible for longevity. I mean, there's so many people out there who are talking about cold showers and hot to cold transitions, and look at Wim Hof and people like that. So it's clearly made it out to Playa here, and they've set it up at one of the big resorts here. So it's out there. What else have we got access to here?
Well, like I said, we got access to that magnetic flux. That's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
That is the biggest reason that makes Playa special, is that when you have such a huge amount of magnetic flux, your mitochondria are actually able to operate at a 100% efficiency. So just because of the magnetic flux. Now, also means that, say, if you're out there grounded at the beach, you have this huge magnetic flux, you're able to capture way more sunlight too. So, and the water here too, the water here is not that bad. Tap, don't drink it, but like any of the bottled water here is pretty much okay. And they still got Pellegrino and stuff like that, which is fine. So we have the 3 pillars of life, light, water, magnetism, all in one place.
Mm-hmm.
That's really why Playa is special. And this resort is really amazing. Like, free food. It's pretty amazing. So you just go eat at all these different places they have here. You just go eat however much you want to, and you can just go to the beach. And that's basically what we do. We just go out to the beach for the sunrise, and it comes straight over from the beach, and we do that. Right after that, we all go have breakfast. So we have our meal within 30 minutes, and that's what we do. We go back out there, or some people stay here at the pool, but we just bake all day long from sunrise to sunset, basically.
I love snorkeling, so that's what I would be doing while I'm out there. So
there's a lot of nice reefs out here.
Is there?
The caveat about baking in the sun is it's always very careful. You have to be very careful. You have to know what you're doing. So a concept called preconditioning or building your solar callus is a really important thing for your listeners to know, that although we can do it, we can bake out there with pretty dark skin.
Yeah.
You got to make sure that you precondition your skin so that you're not burning all the time, you're not doing DNA damage or anything else.
Yeah.
So what would you recommend for somebody who's not used to being out in the sun? Just like maybe 30 minutes or so for first time, or hour?
Yeah, so about the first probably hour, not the first hour to 3 hours, you probably will be okay. In a place like Playa, even though it's, even maybe during the summer, but probably not. Now is a good time to come here during the winter. When the sun's not as strong, but yeah, the first hour to 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, you'd be good to stay out here, and because you get a lot of infrared light, and that's basically all that's present in the morning. So all that infrared light, that's what you use to precondition your surfaces. And that includes your eyes, that includes your skin, it includes even the gut surface, the lung surface, which are the four most important surfaces. And so that's what you use. You use infrared light from the sun, sunrise and sunset. That's how you do it. You do that for a while. It may take you a while depending on your skin type, but yeah, it doesn't take too long either. You just do that, and then you start to really feel it out. Maybe you try going out there, maybe 11, almost to solar noon. See if you can get a little bit. Maybe you get a little red, but you don't get burnt. You don't peel. That's good. So you just want to keep easing your way into the natural light.
And that means no suntan lotion, right?
No.
Hey, put some clothes on if you're getting burnt. Jump in the shade.
Yeah.
Light's great too. Yeah. So the thing is consistency. You want to make sure that infrared that you're getting in the morning is very consistent, so that you're building up your resilience to be able to absorb all the UV. Most people think that UV is bad, and in isolation, when they isolate it and put it in a globe or anything like that, it can be, especially in those tanning beds and things if you don't know what you're doing. But in the sun, everything's balanced. The sun's always 42% infrared light. So you've always got that warmness, that calmness, that soothing part of the sun, which is always preconditioning you. So be careful during the midday. Always get your morning and evening, like Dewey said.
Yeah. And that's the crazy thing too, is that, people get burned. They get burned from the UV light. That's really what's doing it. But if you do the sunrises, you do the sunsets, you get more infrared A light. It actually helps you from getting burnt, but it helps you absorb even more UV light. So,
and the thing is when people go to places like Mexico, they don't get up early in the morning because they've been out partying all night, right? So you get the opposite effects, and then they want to go out in the middle of the day.
Yeah, right. And that's where look at our chronic diseases. Look at melanoma.
Exactly. That's such a good point. And that gets brought up so much, and people are so mind blown. We both tell people this, but people think that UV light causes melanoma, and it's such a half truth. Like, you just tell people you never saw cancer, like you said back in the day, and melanoma has continued to rise and rise and rise. And now in a world where everybody is putting sunblock on everywhere, they're covered up in clothes. They're wearing hats. They're putting glasses or contact lenses on. They're putting sunglasses on. Which, and just by the way, in case your listeners don't know, is that the contact lenses that people wear, just the eyeglasses people wear, blocks UV light. So you don't get any of that when you're wearing contacts and eyeglasses. So.
Well, I went to my I just got new glasses this year, and I told them, I said, I didn't want anything to block the UV light. So is there any type of glasses that they said, oh yeah, we'll just make them clear for you. We can do that. So there's nothing on there on my subscription glasses. It's going to block it. I don't know if the clear glass itself will block it, but there's nothing else on it.
Yeah, it will. You're going to need a specific kind of lens. It's if
Oh,
you
really?
say a lens made of quartz. The quartz
Mm-hmm.
will actually allow for the UV to go through the lens. But yeah, even if you ask your local optician, like say, I don't want the UV protection in my lenses, which they're going to make a big deal about if you do that. Just be ready for it.
Oh, they did. Yeah.
So yeah, it's still gonna block the UV.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It is.
I thought I was doing something good for myself.
That's a good thought, and I like that, Taz. But one of the key things that maybe your listeners need to know as well is that if you're wearing sunglasses and you're getting the sun exposure on your skin, your sunglasses are basically telling your brain it's nighttime. We're not receiving a UV signal. So if your brain thinks nighttime, your skin thinks it's daytime. Your skin's going to burn a lot faster.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Take your glasses off when you're in the sun.
Okay. Yeah, so that means you don't have to go out and buy $100 sunglasses anymore, folks.
Yeah, for real. These Oakley glasses that cost like $400, and I did that back in the day. I wore Oakleys all the time. Yeah. That'll save you some money.
Go buy yourself a pair of raw optics.
Yeah. Instead, you wear these kind of sunglasses at night. So they're really not sunglasses. I like to call them melanoptics because you're protecting melanopsin from the blue light. So, yeah, this is what people need, and we aim to really change the world and really flip the switch.
Now, can you help with like my prescription glasses? Can you help with the quartz lenses, or do you not do that?
We can do prescription lenses right now. With the quartz, I can't say too much.
Okay.
I can't say too much about that yet. But yeah, we know about it. So we're thinking of a lot of different things for the future.
This is the cutting edge. This is just being discovered now. It's being researched, tested.
Okay.
So
right.
It's a good question.
That's awesome. Yeah, because there's so many people that need glasses like myself. I can't see very far away when I drive, but I still want to get the sun in my eyes. So
yeah, well,
the UVs.
So the thing that you can do that I told somebody yesterday, if you want the 3 pairs, so you want like the nocturnal reds for nighttime, maybe in daytime, depending on how blue light toxic the environment is, but also you want to get the yellow ones that we currently offer now. We're going to have new daytime lenses here pretty soon, probably within the next month. Those are going to be more clear. They're still going to be kind of colored, but they're going to be more clear. It's not going to allow for like too much color distortion, so you'll still be able to see colors very well. But also, you have to wear the clear lenses too, like just the regular prescription lenses. But you can kind of hack it a little bit if you can find a frame where the lenses are kind of tiny. They're not so big, like say like this. But if you can find a really skinny one, or say like even a circle one, the circles are kind of like smaller. You can kind of sneak in a little bit of UV light from the sides.
Gotcha.
You can still kind of get it in if you just wear a smaller frame.
Generally, when I'm out there, I just take them off anyway during the day. So, because it's more, I need the glasses more at night to see when I'm driving, because we don't need them at night. But or the sun's not at night, so I'm okay. So tell us a little bit about what your plans are for the future, Dewey. What type of things do you have going on that you're excited about?
Honestly, it's something like this. This is my first podcast that I've done. So, somebody asked me the question at dinner the other night. What do you want this new year to be like? What's the one word that you would choose to describe this new year that is coming? And I said my word would probably be passion. And my goal is to basically start to really change people's lives in a big way by doing podcasts and getting out to more people, because people need to know this message. People need to be aware that a lot of what they believe is not true. So what I want to do over my whole rest of my life, I want to change people's lives on a daily. I want to change the world, but that's what I want to do, and I want to continue to look out for people whenever we're getting screwed by, say, our own government or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, just by the medical field. I want people to know the truth.
Right.
There's nothing passionate, nothing that I'm more passionate about than really helping people out. It really means a lot to me.
Awesome. And then Nathan, for yourself, how do you feel now compared to a couple of years ago? And when did you actually stop taking the treatment? The chemo, and then you started doing getting in the sun and that sort of thing. So how do you feel now compared to then?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I was not sleeping great back in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, it crept up on me, but it is a chronic illness, cancer. So really, some people say it's a 5-year cycle, some people say it's a 10. So it was a long time coming, but it still felt like it crept up on me. Yeah, lethargic, lazy, tired,
Mm-hmm.
but always my personality is very confident, very happy, very positive, very upbeat. And so I was compensating for that and depleting my adrenals. So I was getting more stressed on a daily basis. And yeah, when I was going through my treatment, like I said, symptoms hit me hard. Post that, I was trying everything else alternative as well as the chemo, which lasted for 3.5 months. So it was 5 rounds of BEP chemotherapy, which is bleomycin, etoposide, and cisplatin, if anyone's interested. And yeah, pretty much now, like I said, I've been implementing all these different protocols, using my life as a science experiment.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. There's so many things out there that people tell you that it's good for you, and it may work for some, may not work for others. And I've found that along my journey. So testing things out and finding out what works is incredible. Monitoring my labs, which is really important now. So looking at all my biomarkers, my blood tests, everything. And yeah, moving out of the city that I was in Australia, down south in Melbourne where I lived, and moving up to the tropics. So to give you an idea, it was a 37-degree latitude, which I think is similar to maybe like a Pennsylvania sort of area. And I moved to a 16-degree latitude right at the top of the island of Australia. So well in the tropics. And within that time, I doubled my vitamin D, I doubled my testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
Things are moving. I've still got a ways to go. The story's not written yet.
Mm-hmm.
I am feeling outstanding compared to where I was before.
Awesome. So when you're looking at the latitude, I don't know that much about that. So I'm in Seattle. So what do you think it is? What is my latitude up here?
Washington, right?
Yeah. It's
right.
3?
Yeah, I think it's it's up in the 40s, I think.
Oh, really? Wow. So getting in the cold water is so important for me, isn't it?
Yeah, cold, very important. So
live with your environment.
Loads of seafood too.
Okay. Well, we have a lot of seafood up here, so that's easy to do.
There's seafood there. I was there last year. Oh my God, the wild salmon and wow, some of the oysters.
Oysters are amazing here. Yeah. I mean, you can really taste the salt in them,
Right. And you've got all sorts. You've got ocean oysters, river oysters. Like, it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So do some of that cold thermogenesis.
Yeah, I've been doing it about 3 or 4 times a week lately. I feel amazing.
Impressive. Good job.
Just trying to get other people to get into it. They're like, "Oh, I hate the cold." I'm like, "You don't know what you're missing." How you feel afterwards?
Yeah, that's definitely a dopamine thing. If your dopamine level is low, it'll be very hard for you to change. But once you make that small, tiny step to change, that one choice to change, then it should be easy from then on. Once you finally get the cold like you did, finally get in there, you feel like, hey, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Then you're off.
Yep. I think maybe if I put out there that this will help you lose weight, maybe that'll help better. I mean, people are so superficial about their weight, so.
Yeah. I mean, just the other day, we were talking like, oh, should we go in? Should we do the cold tub? And then, he motivated me, and we were like, yeah, let's do it. And we jumped in, and so I recommend a CT buddy. That really helps you like pass the time while you're shivering in there. Music on, whatever you need to do, but just get in that cold water, right?
Yeah.
And trust me, I'm not in it long. I mean, out here it's probably 45 to 50 degrees now in the waters. and I'm only in for a minute, and it just changes my whole day.
Yeah,
1 minute of your life of the day.
Yeah, look, the ideal temperature is between sort of 50 and 55.
Mm-hmm.
But technically, anything below body temperature is cold thermogenesis. So start slow. Start
Right.
with face dunking or whatever you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Wear a compression vest. Whatever you need to do to get there, but build it up, and you'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
So the compression vest, is that like kind of like a wetsuit?
Kind of like a wetsuit, yeah.
Suit, okay.
But it keeps everything condensed, so it's really the cold.
Keeps you warm. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't need any of that. I just get in.
Yeah, and you look like you're probably an uncoupled haplotype, so your mitochondria are probably able to uncouple and make heat a lot easier than say somebody else, like maybe like me, but I have an uncoupled haplotype too, so I can go light, I can go cold too. But say if someone like say African American that's maybe L0, L2 haplotype that's coupled, they'll have a really hard time. But anybody can do cold, but they just will struggle a little bit.
So the thing you need to look out for is making sure that your extremities aren't going white, because you don't want your core temperature to drop. You just want your surface temperature to drop.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure just whenever you're in there, if you are extending it and you're pushing yourself a little bit and you're shivering, look at your fingers, look at your toes. They start to go white, jump out.
Right. You don't want any frostbite. That's the last thing that you need.
Yeah, you can pay attention to your skin a little bit. Like if it turns like really red, then that's probably where you probably need to stop. That's the plan.
Well, I do the Wim Hof method, so I do the breathing first and everything to get my temperature up before I go in. But there's people out there who go into the ice. They carve a hole in the ice and they get in. I'm not quite there yet, but
that's like deep sea. That's
yeah.
You don't know what you're doing.
Yes,
you do. Yeah, that could be dangerous for beginners.
Oh yeah, not a good idea at all. I think there was a story about Jack Cruz. I think he actually got in an ice tub for a while. He fell asleep.
Oh no!
In the ice tub, and his wife fell asleep too. So he was in there for a long.
Oh my God! How could you fall asleep in an ice tub?
Well, he was really big on deep sea tea back when he was in Nashville, but he was really like he could climb out Mount Everest in his underwear. Like that's how adapted he was. But yeah, so he fell asleep. He said he definitely broke the world record for the longest time in the cold water.
I think he said it was over 12 hours.
Yeah,
so interested.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's crazy.
I guess Wim Hof doesn't have him on that then, yeah.
Hey, they're all pointing in the positive direction.
Yes.
Oh, they all are. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why Wim Hof can get away with a lot of things that he does, like smoking and all that stuff. That's what's saving him right now.
Wim Hof, I think he likes to drink, he likes to smoke. You're right. And then he likes to eat a lot of pasta.
Yeah. So that cold is saving him. If he were to stop doing cold, he probably would be a train wreck.
And what does he do when he's climbing those mountains? No shirt.
Nope.
Got his skin exposed. He's not wearing sunglasses. He's living with nature. Therefore, he can get away with smoking, eating chicken nuggets, whatever he does. He can get away with it when he's light, water, and magnetism connected to the earth around him. Yeah,
because on a lot of the interviews, I noticed they're like, well, what do you eat, Wim? I eat once a day. I drink. I have pasta. That's all I eat. I'm like, what? Yeah, but it's about the cold. So what would be like for you guys? What would be, and we'll go from Nathan to Dewey. What would be the most important thing that you want to put out there for people to start doing? Change their health.
Yeah, they need to start seeing the sunrise. They need to be connected to the earth and looking to the east every single morning, like it's a ritual. There's no excuses. I don't care how late you've been partying. I don't care if you have 1 hour's sleep. If you have to do an all-nighter because you only sleep for half an hour, get out there, see the sun. Your circadian rhythm is the number one important thing in life.
I actually changed my work schedule to do that. I do it every morning now, and tell you what, it's so meditative too, because nobody's out. You're just out there on your own, and you're looking at the sunrise, and you're seeing all the animals, and you're with nature. It's amazing.
Exactly. I probably stole Dewey's because we got taught that.
Nah, no, that's a good one. That would be number one on my list. The second, probably for me, since you said the sunrise, so I think it's very important for people to just question everything they think they know. That's probably the most important, because we're talking about connecting with nature, and you'll raise your dopamine level through the roof, and you'll think okay, being connected to the sun, the magnetic flux, drinking a lot of good water. But from what I've observed, if your vitamin D level is 100, even if it's 150, you can still think really bad, and it can lead to a lot of bad decisions. So you have to really retrain your mind. Then you start becoming a rock star. That's what I would say.
Mm-hmm. Think about what is these habitual thoughts that you have, and is that something you want to keep? I mean, just to be more aware, right?
Yeah, anything precious to you, you question it. I don't care what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You have to keep you on point.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad that you guys took some time out from the sun and the beach. I don't know if I'd want to be on the internet. So,
I would spread back out there as soon as we're done.
Yeah. You'll just offset all this. It's not a problem. So the sun's much more powerful than this blue light. So I just want to thank you guys for being on here. And what I'm going to do is going to put down your links to your websites below. Do you have websites or a Facebook group or Facebook?
Mine's not ready yet. But
okay.
Yeah, I've got a website, Facebook.
Okay. Yeah, we'll put all that down here, and we'll get everything up on YouTube so everybody can watch this and learn and grow from there. And if anybody is having issues with their health, any type of immune diseases, cancer, whatever it is that you're dealing with, or even if you just want to feel more energy and you want to feel more alive and more happy, I highly recommend that you contact both of these young gentlemen, and they're going to help you. They're going to help you feel better. They're going to help turn your health around so that you are born the way you were supposed to be, which is healthy, happy, and strong, right?
And I don't know if Nathan has an Instagram, Facebook, and stuff like that, but you can find me on Instagram and Facebook easily. I think my Instagram is like @Layman Dewey, so pretty simple. Just my last name, LaymanDewey on Instagram, and then Facebook, just Dewey C. Layman Jr.
Yeah, I can put mine down in the show notes.
You guys look amazing. You know that. I'm so happy for you. So happy that you're open your mind enough to change and to learn and to grow and to be where you are today. And what's most important is that we're feeling good.
Yes.
And thanks for doing what you're doing, getting the message out.
Yes.
This is huge.
This is awesome. You're doing really good.
Yeah, I mean, the only way that I learned is just by watching podcasts. I started watching Nathan Waltz online, and I'm like, wow, really? And at first I was kind of like, my mind was a little closed, but then it started opening up a little bit more, and I'm like, and then I started doing the things. And then once you start actually being a practitioner of it, that's when your life changes. You can sit here and watch this and hear people all day long, but if you're not doing it, then what's the point? Action, yeah. All right, guys, get back out there on the beach.
All right.
Thanks, Dad.
Have an awesome day. Take care. All right, bye-bye.